if the facilities where these residents live were to provide ongoing support to their workers in the form of monthly training or even bi-monthly training, these forms of abuse might not be as high as they are today. According to programsforelderly.com, they provide training programs to police officers, adult protective services, court services, and people like that who go out into the field, into nursing facilities, and they train workers on a monthly basis on the proper treatment of care of their residents that they are caring for, and they train them how to deal with different forms of stress that they may be going under. Healthleadersmedia.com did a study where they found that nurses working in the most crowded units of a nursing facility were 2 times as likely to take sick leave for depression versus normal nurses that are working in a properly staffed or properly crowded facility. What happens when somebody is working in a facility where they don't have the sick time to take off for depression or for stress? They're forced to work every day and deal with this stress and bring it to work with them every day, and when something happens with their patient that they're caring for, they're most likely going to take it out on them, and they're going to abuse them in some way or another throughout the day. Also, another thing that can be done to prevent it is to increase the starting minimum wage for CNA. According to nursegroups.com, the Kansas CNA starting salary is $19,000 a year versus the starting wage for a nurse is $35,000 a year. If a certified nursing aide's salary was closer to that of a nurse, they would be less likely to take their stress out. They wouldn't have to go home and deal with how they're going to pay for their bills, how they're going to put food on their table. They can just go to work, they can perform the care they needed without having to deal with all this other stress. I've talked about many different kinds of abuse today. I've talked about financial abuse, I've talked about neglect, and I've talked about false imprisonment. I've also talked about the couple things that can be done and should be done in order to decrease the abuse of the elderly from happening. If we had increased pay and increased training to these certified nurses aides at a facility on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, it would help them deal with their stress, and it would help them figure out what they need to do on a daily basis. And what we also need to realize is that someday, somewhere, we might end up in a nursing facility and be forced for somebody else to take care of us. When that happens, we probably will be somebody else's grandma, or we'll be somebody else's grandpa, or we'll be somebody else's angel, whether it's in this life or it's in another life.